Welcome to another week in digital marketing news. For this week, the week ending, of course, on the 5th of August 2017. How you all doing? I'm Vince Warnock, otherwise known as Just the Geek, and of course we're here for AllTheGeek.com, your single source of digital marketing news. Everything from search to social media, from tech to AI. If it's relevant for you guys, you know it's going to be on the website. So how are we? You had a good week? Hopefully you all have. I'm taking it that that's a yes. Or should I pause and pretend I'm listening to you all? Anyway, we've got a lot to cover this week. But of course, before we do, make sure you look for that subscribe button and give it a big smash so that you don't miss any of the updates. And if there's anything you like in this video, please click that like button. Leave us some comments down below. You guys are digital marketers. You know how this works. Okay, so we're going to kick things off. But of course, first, we have some user feedback or viewer feedback. What do you guys want to call yourself? Awesome people feedback, that will do. We had some great feedback here from Grant around, and actually about 3 or 4 other people around the size of the videos. So we brought this up last week. We talked about the fact that the videos themselves, I'm considering chunking them out into those 4 different sections. So you have the week in AI, the week in social media, etc. But we're toying with that idea, and we're not yet 100% sure if we want to move away from the full week in digital marketing news updates. So some really good discussion around that. Some people have said they like watching the whole video while on the train. Others have said they prefer just skipping to their sections, so the smaller videos would work well for them. Look, guys, we're still considering it. We're still thinking about it. I'll keep you all updated, of course. Next up, we've had a few people feedback about the quality last week. Now, I did apologize for that. We are having some issues here just with, while we're working on the new office, obviously the lighting is causing us a bit of problem. You see that giant light outside called the sun? Yeah, unfortunately it kind of shines through those windows and just causes us a bit of grief. And my lighting rig, my poor old lighting rigs, they're really struggling to keep up here. But we are launching the whole new office design very, very soon, so all of that should be taken care of. Next up, we had Derek and Jane talking about social media updates. There's a number of people who have actually asked if we can, every time we push out some new articles or videos on AllTheGeek.com, if we can update it through social. Now, obviously, if you follow us on social media, you've seen we've been incredibly light, i.e. radio silence. There is a reason for that. And it's because I'm too busy. So essentially, we're putting all the content up on the website and doing these videos. I really haven't had a chance to do either the social media updates or the email newsletter, and appreciate a lot of you have signed up for the newsletters. They are coming very soon. I'm actually bringing on board some additional people to give me a hand with this, which is fantastic. So you're going to hear from the awesome Nathan very soon, who's going to be doing all our social media and helping out with those newsletters as well. So they are coming. Thanks so much for being patient, everyone. Hey, that's it for the updates. Got my trusty little post-it notes. You all know how this works by now. We're going to kick things off with the week in social media. Well, surprise, surprise, we have a lot of updates in social media this week. Ta-da! First up, this one's getting a little bit of kickback online, particularly on, wait for it, social media. See what I did there? Classic. LinkedIn are launching their free mentor program, and you would have heard in the intro, a lot of people are calling this their LinkedIn's Tinder, basically. Their Tinder to try and attract millennials. Now what it is it gives young people a chance to find a mentor through LinkedIn. So essentially you can set your criteria, you can opt into the program, select your criteria and say, I only want to talk to people that are either connected with me or 2 degrees of separation, etc. And then LinkedIn will show you some profiles of different people. I don't know why I'm doing that. You don't get to swipe, you get to tap on them. There we go, tap, tap, tap. And you get the chance to chat with these people to find out if they are a suitable mentor for you. Now, a lot of people are crying that this is desperation on LinkedIn's behalf, that they desperately need to attract those millennials to the platform. Look, that could be the case, but the reality is there is a distinct lack of mentors in this industry, particularly in marketing and digital marketing, and I know this is a lot of other industries there as well, but a lot of people coming out of university really disillusioned. They finish their courses, end up flipping burgers. They don't get an opportunity to get some of the quality mentors that we've all had opportunity to. So I think this is a step in the right direction. I think a lot more work needs to be done on mentor programs in general. And if LinkedIn are willing to step up and do this, then I say good on you, LinkedIn. You get a thumbs up from me. So next up, a couple of updates from Snapchat. Firstly, on Tuesday, Snapchat rolled out a program to allow third-party performance measurement firms, that's a mouthful, to be able to track ad performance. So this works on all types of Snapchat ads. and essentially it allows other companies to be able to monitor the performance of the ads, to measure them against competition, but also to measure them against other platforms as well. So this is interesting, and it came off the back of our next news story for Snapchat, was with the fact that Snapchat have launched their advanced mode for Snapchat ads. Now, I've said it deliberately like that because I needed to read it out properly, and I keep forgetting the name of this, advanced mode for Snapchat ads, because essentially this is just Facebook's ads power editor. So for once, Snapchat are copying other people rather than other people copying Snapchat. I guess, you know what, you've earned this, Snapchat, good on you. But essentially this is their platform that allows a lot more advanced management of Snapchat ads, and this is all types of Snapchat ads. It includes a permutation builder, so you can build and test multiple different ad sets and measure them against each other and see which is performing best. You also get the ability to save target audiences, and you get to group performance metrics. So if you've got a bunch of different performance metrics which are relevant to a campaign, you can group them together and produce a report for that. Look, this is things that all advertisers have been crying out for. We really did need that kind of level of management on Snapchat. So this is a good thing. Awesome. I love it when good news comes out in the week. Anyway, a pile of stories now from Facebook. Facebook have released a number of different pieces of research. But before that, Facebook stories are coming to desktop. You heard it here. So apparently they've begun testing, rolling out Facebook stories on desktop. In all honesty, I don't know what they need to test there. You just roll it out, I would have thought. But anyway, on your Facebook desktop, you will see on the right-hand side up there, looks a lot like Instagram stories. Wonder why. But you'll see the different stories there and you can interact with them. Look, the majority of people, obviously, that use Facebook are still on mobile, but there is a lot of people that still use it on desktop. So we'll wait and see how this works and how it performs. But yeah. Next up, Facebook again. Facebook have released a couple of reports, and the first one is around maximizing video on Facebook, which is really interesting actually. And on AllTheGeek, we're going to be putting up there in the next day or so, you'll see a link through to this research, but also we'll have a bit of a breakdown there so you can kind of understand the core learnings from it. So essentially, some of the key findings that we've already found in there include your brand early. We all know this. Basically, 47% of people, or 47% of the value in an ad now is in those first 3 seconds. So most people don't really go past those first 3 seconds unless you've hooked them in. So you need your brand to be upfront and early. What else have I got here? I can't even read my own writing. This is terrible sometimes. Anyway, reinforce your message visually. Make sure you set the scene quickly, and make sure you optimize the ratios for mobile. There's some of the key insights. A lot of this really isn't rocket science. Telling a story is telling a story, whether you're front loading it for that first 3 seconds or whether you're trying for that long kind of drawn out narrative. Either way, it's storytelling. You need to be able to tell a story. So yeah, interesting. We'll put that on the website, as I said. The next one is Facebook releasing a report on the benefits of gender positive advertising. Now, I know most of you are probably thinking the same thing as me right now, but as duh, of course gender positive advertising is going to be a good thing. But what they've found, they've surveyed 1,500 people in the US, and they found that people are 8 to 10% more likely to think positively about a brand if they have gender positive stereotypes in their advertising, in their imagery, etc. This is a really important one because it also includes sexualization of women in advertising. So this has been a bugbear of a lot of people for some time. Although someone pointed out to me that the Carl Jr. ads were sexualizing women. Unfortunately, all I saw were the burgers. So my brain thinks a little bit differently to most people apparently, and now I'm hungry. That's not a good thing. Anyway, so that report's also, some of the highlights of that report's going to be on allthegeek.com. But essentially, it's kind of proving what we already knew. Having positive gender stereotypes in ads, or not stereotypes, having positive gender imagery, there we go, in advertising is a good thing. Okay, so just do it. Come on, people. Do it. Anyway, and also on that, Facebook also bridging the diversity gap. Facebook have made it a mission to kind of get rid of that whole young white male working all night, drinking lots of sugary drinks and doing cocaine. I don't know what they do at Facebook, but anyway, they're trying to get away from that stereotype. They really are making active steps towards diversity, which is a fantastic thing, as you know. They've just released their new, what do they call it? They call it their diversity report, and it shows, in Facebook's words, we've still got a long way to go, but they are up in every area. So their diversity is increasing in gender diversity, sexual diversity, ethnic diversity. All of this is a good thing. Facebook are a huge employer, so all of these are steps in the right direction. Believe it or not, that's it. We're going to race through this week. That's it for social media. Next up, of course, it's search. Okay, we've got a few updates in search this week. First of all, Google have added a save and bookmarking feature to their mobile version of Google Search, Google page. When you go to Google on the mobile version, click on the hamburger menu up the top, and you have the ability to save and bookmark different pages. So essentially, if you're searching for an itinerary, you're searching for a plumber, you're searching for somewhere on the maps, etc., instead of the share button that they used to have under all of that, they now have a save button. So you can go through and save these itineraries, save the different things you're searching for, and then in the hamburger menu, click on that save page, and you will have the ability to see what you saved. Wow, that was really quite obvious when you think about it. But anyway, so that's it. Sometimes these news stories are an anticlimax, you guys know that. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see there. A lot of bookmarking services used to be all the rage, certainly back in the early days of the internet. A lot of that has died off, so somebody's kind of stepping into that space. So if Google can do this, it could be interesting. I'd love to see how consumer behavior changes and whether that has any impact on how we kind of do our Google business listings or how we do our search metadata. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm not predicting anything too substantial at this stage. But next up, Google apparently, this is the rumor mill. We love good gossip here. Google offered $30 billion to buy AllTheGeek? No, sadly, to buy Snapchat. So apparently they floated the offer back in 2016. That was before Snapchat did their funding round. Evan Spiegel, yeah, we all know Evan Spiegel. He's very independent. He said no, of course, he has absolutely no interest in selling Snapchat. He turned them down. Now, we've tried to get, and a number of different media outlets have tried to get confirmation of this. Snapchat have said outright that this is false. However, Google have said, we won't comment on this and we have no comment. So apparently industry insiders have said that this was legit, that they did offer $30 billion to Snapchat. Wow. I'd settle for $1 billion. Seriously, Google, I'm just saying, like, you know, our 5 or 6 followers that we have on AllTheGeek, it's probably worth something. Anyway, next up, YouTube. This is a big one, actually. You would have heard the reports that a lot of big name brands are actually pulling out of YouTube. They're no longer doing YouTube advertising because they can't guarantee where their ads are showing, on what videos their ads are showing, and in some cases you can't guarantee what ads are showing on your videos. That lack of control has caused a lot of concern amongst advertisers, a lot of people really worried about brand reputation. So YouTube are starting to address this. They're working really hard on this. They are now offering publishers the ability to control ads that are served on their videos. So they give you a brand new player and brand new analytics that's all built into this new player, which means, of course, a move away from the Bright Cove platform that Google/YouTube used to use. So it's going to be interesting to see if this allays enough of the fear from advertisers, and if we see some of those bigger brands moving back into YouTube. This has got to be hurting YouTube. It's something that they need to be focusing a lot more on. I mean, this, as I said, is the ability to control what ads are showing on your videos. The next step is to be able to control where your ads are showing and making sure that you're not your ads aren't displaying on any explicit or controversial, any particularly, I was going to say aggressive, you know, the dodgy videos, to make sure they don't appear on those. So a little bit of a way to go, but I think this is a huge step in the right direction. Be interesting to see what happens with the big brands. I'm watching this very, very closely. Hey, guess what? That's it for search. Next up, all the news and tech. Okay, how about this? Okay, it's been a light week in tech this week. Of course, last week we saw a lot of the Q2 earnings coming out for most of the tech providers. This week we had a straggler coming in, which I'll tell you about in a sec. But before that, Snapchat. Yes, they're in the tech section here. I did contemplate putting this under social media, but then we'd only have one story in tech, and that wouldn't be fair, would it? But Snapchat are in talks to buy 00 Robotics. Now, you may have heard of 00 Robotics. Essentially, they make the foldable drone, the foldable drone, hover, camera, passport thingy. I can't even think of the word for it. Anyway, it's a drone that is foldable, has a mesh kind of outing, and essentially similar to the DJI Spark. This is a drone that kind of follows you around, essentially taking video versions of selfies. So interesting to interesting to see what Snapchat do here. This video is turning into a mess. Anyway, interesting to see what Snapchat do if they do successfully purchase it. There's no word yet on how much they're looking to purchase it for. Rumors are around the 150 to 200 million mark, which is pretty good because 00 Robotics, had to say that right. 00 Robotics are a relatively new company. I believe they only came out in around October 2016, from what I understand. But anyway, so really good company. Those drones look amazing. At the moment, you can only buy those drones in Apple stores. So if Snapchat get their hands on this, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Next up in tech, I promise not to butcher this story. Apple, of course, have released their Q2 earnings. And look, no surprises here. They have smashed Wall Street expectations. I've got a few key stats here for you. Revenue was $45.4 billion. Wow, 41 million iPhones sold. That's revenue of 24.8 billion. So huge chunk of the overall revenue, of course, is from those iPhones. We had a few other stats around iWatches and Apple Watches. I still call them iWatches. Any IoT devices, etc. But the iPad was the big surprise here. iPad sales are up 15%. So essentially it made $4.9 billion in revenue. And what this kind of says essentially is Apple's revenue are up in all sectors. So things are looking pretty rosy for Apple. So Apple, maybe I'll throw it out to you, $1 billion for AllTheGeek.com, just saying, So anyway, that's it for tech. I don't know why I'm rambling today. That's it for tech. Next up, before it gets dark outside, we've got all the news in AI. Okay, it's been a busy week in AI. It seems whenever tech is a bit light during the week, then AI seems to lift everything up. It's a bit of a weird dynamic. But a few stories here in AI. First of all, Facebook have bought Oslo. This is a company that uses, hang on, I need to get this right here, a unique knowledge graph. Basically what Oslo did is they created a knowledge graph, like a kind of repository of knowledge that humans need to understand, so therefore AI needs to understand, and that helps the AI with conversational-based natural language processing. So essentially it's world facts that we all know. If it's anything like me, it's probably useless trivia about movies and superheroes and Star Wars. Maybe that's built in there, I don't know. But essentially this is another move by Facebook to improve the conversational AI. So to improve that natural language processor and try and catch up to the likes of Google and Amazon. Next up, Facebook again. Wow, Facebook, you've had a busy AI week. Facebook translations. Now, some of you may have been aware that Facebook translations have been partially powered by AI. Effectively, they are now exclusively powered by AI. So every day there is about 45 billion auto translations done on Facebook. When you see some foreign text on there and you have the ability to translate that. The new neural networks that Facebook have created now look after this exclusively. So the way that this is different, this is actually quite an important point here. So essentially, a lot of translators look at words within a sentence. So if I was to say the sentence, "My cat likes being on camera," then essentially it would look at the translation of "my," they'll look at the translation of "cat," likes, being on, etc. The way that the new neural network that Facebook's created works is it actually looks at the sentence in context. So theoretically, this can work a lot faster than human translation, and it can get a better quality of translation. So I don't know if you've used Google Translate, which is getting better and better, but essentially if you grab some English text, change it to Spanish, and then take that Spanish text and translate it back to English, Sometimes it's a lot of fun, by the way, because you get some really weird translations. But you'll see that a lot of things are lost because it doesn't look at the entire sentence. So Facebook think that they've solved this. They've rolled out their thing called LSTM, which is Long Short-Term Memory Network. There you go. LTSMN maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so that's it for Facebook. Next up, this is interesting. So University of Warwick in the UK, they have trained a neural network to recognize a beautiful sunset. So essentially it will show them, you can show them a photo of a sunset. The neural network will decipher whether it's beautiful or whether it's not. Now they've claimed this is a first, but actually I don't believe it is. I know Google, we talked about this in a previous episode, Google have rolled out an AI that can determine subjective based decision making. So it can look at images and work out first of all what makes a good image, what do people like in an image, so therefore what would make that a beautiful image versus a poor image, etc. So I don't believe they're first. But the interesting area is where they're looking to deploy this kind of technology. So essentially, one of the use cases that's come up is directly for us as marketers and digital marketers. Now, hands up if you've ever had to troll through about 2,000 odd photos to try and find the right photo that has the right DNA for your business and your brand, the right kind of landscape versus portrait, the right kind of look and feel. Sorry, big noise outside. Wondered what it was. Thought it was an earthquake for 2 seconds. Apparently it is not. That is a good thing. Anyway, so anyway, if you've had to troll through images to try and find the right banner image, the right image for your media and for your advertising, well, essentially, if a neural network can determine what looks good, and it could also determine where on an image the most amount of the activity or action is, then it could troll through thousands and thousands of photos to find the right one just for you. So, interesting use case. I would certainly welcome it in the office because the amount of times that we've had to waste on looking for images is mind-numbing. But anyway, so last up in AI, this one is a doozy. It's my favorite story of the week. Essentially, Tencent, which is a Chinese social network, we all know Tencent, they run automated AI chatbots. They've had to turn off 2 of their chatbots because, well, apparently they turned on the Chinese government. So someone was testing the chatbots and said, "Do you like the Communist Party?" And the chatbots replied with, "No." Not a maybe, a categorical no, I do not like them. So essentially these chatbots and AI are starting to learn enough to know, actually, that ain't a good thing, China. We don't like this kind of thing. So Tencent have turned them off, probably for fear that they go out and get shot. But anyway, those poor chatbots are now dead. May they rest in peace. Anyway, that is it for AI this week. As I said, it's been a good week. Next up, of course, we've got your favorite part of the show, AllTheGeek's Muppet of the Week. And this week's Muppet of the Week goes to Marcus Hutchins. Now, you may recognize that name. Some of you will be sitting there going, who is this Marcus Hutchins? I've heard his name before. And the reason you have is Marcus was the, what do we call him? Cybersecurity guy, the security expert. He's the guy that found the way to beat the WannaCry ransomware virus. So why has he been arrested? Good question. So Marcus flew over to the US for DEF CON. Now, if you don't know what DEF CON is, it's basically the big black hat security conference. So all the hackers come in and kind of all learn about the new exploits and learn about new security features, etc. Marcus was stopped and arrested there and put on $30,000 worth of bail in conjunction, nothing to do with WannaCry, believe it or not, but in connection to the Kronos malware virus. So it looks like basically Marcus is a Muppet, because if you do dodgy things, Marcus, don't fly to places where they can arrest you. Just use your head, man. Anyway, Marcus Hutchins, you non-clever Muppet of the week. You get our award. And lastly, our tech find of the week. So our tech find this week is a really interesting website. It's called copyscape.com. So copyscape.com. Now, essentially on copyscape.com, you can put, we have a lot of news articles on allthegeek.com. I can grab the URL for one of those articles, put it into Copyscape, and it will search to see if anybody out there has copied the article, and it works on a kind of percentages basis to basically look for people that are plagiarizing your content. So really good for digital marketers or marketers in general actually. Any PDFs you put out there, it can scan any websites where you've got web page copy for your product or for your services. You can put it into there to see who's copying you. Now obviously copying is a type of flattery, but in some cases you really don't want it. So copyscape.com is our tech find of the week. Hey, that's it guys. This is your week in digital marketing news. As you can see, it's getting dark outside now. This kind of limited lighting issues that we're having here mean we can only record at a certain time of day, and it gets dark really quickly here. So thanks for watching. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you've clicked on that subscribe button. Make sure you give us a like. Go on, you've been all the way through the video. You might as well now. And leave us a comment. Tell us how you're using these videos, how you're finding them. Tell us about the articles on AllTheGeek.com. What do you want to see more of? What do you want to see less of? Where's Cole? That's the question everyone's asking. He's asleep in the lounge. But anyway, so leave us your comments. Leave us your feedback. We really appreciate it. Hey, I'm Vince Warnock. You guys have been absolutely fantastic, but you know that. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.